Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Would you come on in here with me and let's open our Bibles up today as we look at Psalm 31. Now, we're going to study Psalm 31 for the next 2 weeks, this week and next. So you'll be here in this psalm for a little while. This psalm is an introduction to it. Let me just say this. It is a prayer of the church, but it is also a prayer of Christ on the cross. And because he actually quotes from this psalm while he's on the cross, like Psalm 22, we have to say of this psalm that this is his. He adopts this for himself. Now, there is a tradition that says that Christ prayed beginning in Psalm 22, verse 1, and prayed all the way through to Psalm 31, verse 5. And that's where he ended his prayer, and that's where he ended his life. So he's on the cross, and that entire time he's praying through Psalm 22 and following until he gets to Psalm 31. And in some traditions in the Western Church, the first 5 verses of this psalm have been considered a separate psalm. They've stood alone because of the way we end in verse 5. And so they've seen it as a psalm all by itself. And some traditions even chant this at Compline, as its own psalm, these first 5 verses. So a prayer of the church, a prayer of Christ on the cross, a prayer of David. Actually, it's a psalm of David. You'll notice the introduction here. It says, to the choir master, a psalm of David. So the choir master is back. He's at work, and he's helping David with this psalm. He's publishing this one. There are some other influences in here. You have Psalm 18 as an influence. We see shades of Psalm 23 there in verse 3. We'll get to that tomorrow. And then tomorrow also we'll see, the quotation of Christ on the cross, and we'll go to Luke chapter 23 and notice that. Well, let's go ahead and read today, beginning in verses 1 and 2 here in Psalm 31. So verses 1 and 2 in Psalm 31. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. Bow down thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock, for an house of defense to save me. All right. A strong rock. Yep. So we have here in these first 2 verses, and I know that you probably already recognize some of the themes that we find in Psalm 18 right here in Psalm 31. The idea of the strong rock, the fortress, or the house of defense, and the prayer for deliverance. Also, you'll notice in these first 2 verses, you have 7 lines, and in each line you have the first person pronoun. In you, O Lord, I trust. That's how we begin. I will not be ashamed. Deliver me. Verse 2, incline your ear to me. Speedily deliver me. Be to me a strong rock, a stronghold for my salvation. So you have this first person that's repeated over and over again. It's very personal to David. And that's why I say this is also to be considered a prayer of the church, because for us, how would we pray? We would say the same thing. When we're in trouble, or when we're not, just because we're wrestling against sin, and that's trouble enough, we would pray this prayer as well. Incline your ear, speedily deliver me, be to me a strong rock, and house of defense, save me. We would say those very same things. And, of course, this a prayer of Christ on the cross, praying David's words there on the cross, making this his very own. In you, O Lord, I trust, as they nail him to the tree. What faith that it was. I will not be ashamed, By your righteousness, deliver me. Incline your ear to me. Speedily deliver me. You can hear Jesus praying this even on the cross. How wonderful is that? Well, we'll come back tomorrow and look at Psalm 31. We're going to read tomorrow verses 3, 4, and 5. So I hope you'll join me then here on Daily Dose Radio.